दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क, धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया।
Good afternoon, friends. A very warm welcome to our business opportunity over chai. And this special edition business opportunity over chai will help you to understand the greatest business opportunities that we franchise India specially brings for you. Business opportunity over chai presented by management team of Franchise India, Mr. Gaurav Maria, Chairman at Franchise India Group, and Ms. Sonia Chaudhary, MD at Franchise India Brands Limited. Every day, 12 o'clock, we launch a new brand to explore new business opportunity. Today, we have invited a great brand come from the region of Chandigarh, Milkshake and Company. Milkshake and Company, a progressive venture of Kaira Luxury Beverages Private Limited, is a luxury brand loved for its coolest variety of milkshakes. Primarily operating as a takeaway outlet, Milkshake and Company offer 32 types of milkshake in different flavors: original chocolate, fruity, real fruit, and confectionery, loaded with ice cream and whipped cream. The shakes are served in trendy and crazy cups and tins. To know more about this business opportunity, we have invited the founder of Milkshake and Company, Mr. Kabir Singh. Welcome, Kabir ji.
Hey, thanks, Harshika. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so just to give a brief background on the brand, we started our full-scale operations out of Chandigarh in 2015. Then, while setting it up and ensuring that we have supply chains in place, we didn't expand for 2 years. Post 2 years, 2017 is when we opened shop in Lucknow. And from there on, we kept on expanding till all the way up to 2020 pre-COVID. So pre-COVID times, we have been operating in Lucknow with 2 stores, Kanpur, right? We're there in Vijayawada, right? And then within the Chandigarh region, we are there in Chandigarh, Mohali, Panchkula, which essentially is the Tri-City, quite similar to what a Delhi NCR region would be like, correct? And post-COVID, 2023, we again started with our expansion with going on to cities like Indore. We're there in Indore with the Phoenix Group, the Citadel Mall. And we recently opened a new outlet last month. One was in Allahabad, which is in a private food court. And we opened another outlet in Bangalore, Sarjapur, which got operational in mid-June. And there's another outlet which is going to open on the 15th of September in Bangalore again, which is again with the Phoenix Group in the Mall of Asia. Now, the Mall of Asia apparently is the second largest mall in Asia, and it's the flagship mall of Phoenix Group. We have already signed up with Phoenix for their Calcutta property. There's a new mall coming up in Calcutta, but that will be operational about in about 2026 or 27, depending on how the development happens. So should I start with the brand presentation? There's a brief presentation that we have here, which lists out pretty much who we are, what we do, what the product is, and everything. So I'll just start with the... All right. So Milkshake and Co, like it was mentioned earlier, while the name is Milkshake and Co, we are more into a typical American cafe kind of a setup, wherein we fundamentally operate in broad 7 large product categories. Milkshakes being the lead. We got about 32 type of milkshakes. Then we do fries, we do burgers, we do cold coffees, lemonades, wraps. And we keep on adding new items to our food menu, not essentially the beverage one, because beverage is where we already very strong. So food-wise, we are probably looking at also at pastas. We are probably also looking at pizzas. But the launch of these product categories, again, would be dependent on how well our supply chains or our suppliers are able to cater to us pan-India. Because we firmly believe that even if you go to any outlet of Milkshake and Co, you should get the same product experience, be it Chandigarh, be it Vijayawada, be it Bangalore. So there should be no product differentiation. And in order to achieve that, we need to be sure that our supply chains for any new products that we get into are there, right? The vision of the brand is we do operate within a young and a youth-centric sphere. So we would like to be always in the trending zone. We would always like to be quirky. Essentially, we would always like to be appealing to the youth of the country. Since when we proceed with the presentation, you'll understand why we say youth, trend, and quirky, because that's our core target audience from a business point of view also. Right. We are constantly in terms of mission. The way it goes is we want to be the trendiest brand, pan-Indian across the globe. I mean, we are considered as the trendiest brand wherever in cities we approach. But I think now the time is right to kind of take it across India, right? And then hopefully across the globe, because we are also looking at Middle East to expand, since it's pretty much a similar demographic to what India is. Then we are a sustainable QSR model. Sustainability comes to us even before the new jargons came into picture, right? And we are innovating in a space that is already known to a lot of us, right? We are not bringing in new food concepts, like which are completely unknown, but we're bringing in food concepts and presenting it in a manner that is different to what others do. In terms of identity, we are fun, youthful, trendy. We are personified, we animated, and we ever evolving. Evolving is something that we do take pride in, because we keep on changing ourselves at a broad consumer level without changing the ethos of the brand. In terms of colors, fundamentally, you'll see a lot of blues and the whites with us, right? These are colors that are ingrained in our memories since our childhood, and they connect very well with typical people. Personalities, we'd like to break typical stereotypes, right? And this is what we do through our products and a lot of our creative elements that we do. USP, we are an original premium milkshakes recipe. We do like to call ourselves premium. In terms of the ingredients we use, we do not use any run-of-the-mill operators. We have the tie-ups, and the operators we work with are leaders in their own fields. Like all our milk products, ice creams are sourced from Mother Dairy. All our syrups and our sauces, which we make in-house, are sourced from a Danish company, right? So these are all imported syrups. These are not your syrups which you'll find on your average retail outlet, right? Then that's the product side. On the packaging side, we have a lot of eco-friendly packaging. We do a lot of upcycle-based packaging, right? We strongly believe in minimizing the carbon footprint, which is why we're pretty much a zero plastic brand. And we've been a zero plastic brand, not now, not before the government mandated it. We've been a zero plastic brand since we started the business, since 2015. Right. The brand story is the brand started all the way back in early 2000s in England, when me and my partner, we were studying there. We did it part-time as a kiosk model there, just to earn some extra money. We did it for about 3.5 years there, but then after we graduated, we moved back into our respective cities and typically got into a corporate job. I personally have been a part of corporate environment for 13 years. I worked with the Tata Group and I worked in advertising pretty much a lot of my career. But 2015 is when we decided that we need to revive this, because we did see a lot of potential in this, and we decided to fully invest and go ahead with this brand. So what we do milkshakes. What you see in front of you is, you'll see a lot of these cartoon character type of glasses. You see a lot of whipped cream on top. Now you can easily say, all these glasses are randomly designed. These are not randomly designed glasses. Each and every glass represents a flavor that is there. Each and every glass, we try to imbibe a kind of a character of a person who will do it, because the typical kind of people who would like strong chocolate milkshakes. There are people who like floral based milkshakes, right?
Hence, I feel Kabiji's network has an issue. We'll wait for him to come back. In the meantime, my request to all of you would be to use the Q&A. I was seeing many of you raising your hands as we were taking you through the presentation. You can use the Q&A box to ask any query. And also, while we wait for Kabiji to come, there are two key markets where we're looking at. While the brand is present in multiple locations across the country, but their current focus is primarily two markets. One is obviously Gujarat and the other is Bangalore. So these are Gujarat as a market, which means including even key cities like Surat and Ahmedabad. And as far as Karnataka is concerned, their initial focus is to do a big cluster only out of Bangalore, because they have a center. In fact, they have a store which is coming up in Bangalore. So anybody who has any location or interest in a business, you can keep putting your queries and we'll take all your questions also live. We'll come back on the menu, Praveenji, and what is the required total investment. We're coming on to that. Odisha currently is not a focus area for them. And if you look at the locations currently the brand is in, you will find them in all the key cities and some of the leading malls, their current presence. And that is because the supply chain and the vendors which they have are supplying to these regions. So once they have their presence in the key capitals of the country, they would look at maybe going to tier 2 cities in that state and the region. So we'll also come back on the menu. I think some questions which I see are also on the menu. And Harshika, I'll request if you can also speak to Kabirji to see if he's joining back. We'll talk about the menu. We'll also talk about the investment. And to give you a broader understanding on the investment, they are currently operating out of a small format, which can range anything between 250 square feet to about 500 square feet of an area. And the typical investment goes in the franchise fee. Then there's an investment on the equipment that is required at the outlet, which is the kitchen equipment. And also about 2,000 rupees per square feet, which is the investment on the interiors and the capex. So broadly, these are three big investments that would go in. And all these investments put together would be close to about 25 odd lakhs. And the breakup we'll see, and we'll also take some understanding on where all the 25 lakhs of investment would go in. But broadly, if I talk about franchise fees and the other components, this would consume almost about 90% of the investment. And the rest is also your investment or your working capital that you need to retain for the product, the inventory, and also for the launch. So Harshika, are you checking?
I'm checking.
So the smallest model, Mihirji, that you're asking is 250 square feet. There is not a kiosk model. They don't have a kiosk model. So it would be either a place which can be taken in the mall, like many other companies. The food court is one area which can have a category like this, or a format like this also works well in the atrium spaces in the mall. We would need a minimum area requirement of carpet of about 200 square feet of space for both beverages as well as the food offering they have to do. and 25 is the minimum. So while they have given some guidelines on the interior, company will give you all the specifications of the interior. What goes to the company is a component of primarily franchise fees, and what you pay for the entire supply. So all these supplies are given by the company. The company will also introduce you to the vendors where other procurement in terms of, I would say, your kitchen equipment needs to be placed. As far as your interior investment is concerned, the company gives you the guidelines on what kind of specifications have to be used for the flooring, for the wall, and also for the brand. And you can tie up with the local vendors to get that executed. While their guideline is about 2,000 rupees per square feet, but depending on the location and the negotiation that you can do at the local level, this can also come down. So we have Kabirji back. Kishorji will check on the Chennai area as well. So wonderful. So we have you back, Kabirji.
Hi, sorry, I mean the light problem there. So Harshita, if you can present the slide, please.
Getting that back.
Yeah, okay. So I was talking about milkshakes. So this is where we are. I mean, all these are different flavors. This is where the company invests a lot more. I mean, imagine doing 32 milkshakes, A, cracking very different flavors, then B, cracking all individual packaging for these. And we do keep on upgrading our designs also. So that's just that, it doesn't become old and people aren't bored with it. Right. And then coming to flavors, if you look at a menu, which is available on our website, which is there on the social media page, you'll see we do very different products. I mean, we wouldn't do 20 different type of chocolate milkshakes and they all taste the same. I mean, this is where our USP has been. Each and every product tastes differently because at the ground level, when you typically see a typical consumer, are groups of 3 or 4 friends coming together, each ordering a different milkshake and taking sips from each other. More often than not, you'll find with other brands, that they'll say, oh, they all taste the same while the name is different. That has never been the case with us. Next slide, please, Harshika. So these are our burgers and fries. Now, what you see here are our burger tin cans. Now, these tin cans are, again, a collectible tin can. These are all food grade material. The tin can itself is part of packaging and is included in the price what the customer pays. This, again, has been a USP, the tin can packaging, because people take them home. We've been seeing a lot of customer reviews and social media posts where they make planters out of it, where they make pen stands out of it, where they make jewelry boxes out of it. And we do consciously through a social media channel keep on giving ideas to our consumers. How can they upcycle these tin cans? Because this, again, we believe is all about the eco.
Since my request would be to kindly bear, we seem to have connectivity issue at Kabirji's end. Keep writing your questions. Be assured that all your questions would be answered. And also my request is anybody who's looking at one-to-one meeting or a call, we're more than happy to even get that organized. And Mr. Kabir and his team is also traveling to Bangalore towards the end of the month and sometime in the middle of the month again, because they have a launch which is planned in Bangalore. So anybody who wants to progress with the conversation, we can have a call, and this could be followed by a meeting in Bangalore. So we'll wait for him to join back. Keep writing in. So we'll come on the terms of the agreement, Jemin. So broadly, any F&B format of a nature like this would typically have an agreement period of about 5 odd years. Most of the brands don't have any lock-in period. There's no lock-in period which company is giving. Anyone can exit at any given point in time. But that is generally not recommended by any company. It takes time for businesses to stabilize. And so minimum about 6 months is a period where every brand, in fact, which is being launched needs that time frame to stabilize and come to optimum level of performance. So while no companies give you any lock-in period, unless the arrangement is different, where you are a pure investor and the company. Yes, Kabirji, we can hear you now.
I'm terribly sorry about this. Yeah, I can't. I mean, Chandigarh doesn't happen in Chandigarh, but I don't know why it's happening.
No problem.
All right. So next slide, please, Harshika. Right. So here are our cold coffee and lemonade. These are again tin cans. These are again collectibles, right? As you can see, nothing here is getting wasted. Even the packaging we used, we somehow promote the multiple usage of this packaging. Right. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our menu. These are our typical menus, how they're displayed at all the stores. Correct. So we focus on milkshakes, which takes about like good 35% of the screen space, followed by our burgers, fries, cold coffees. And seasonally, we do cappuccinos and hot chocolates as well, which is predominantly a winter function for us. Right. Next slide, please. Right. Then again, as I was talking about the packaging, all the packaging is eco-friendly, it is collectible, it is reusable, and the brand has invested a lot in trademarking and copywriting it, because we do believe that we somehow have to protect our investor share also. Right, we have a very strong legal team which kind of monitors the digital space for anyone who's trying to kind of piggyback on our concepts. We have seen a couple of cases, and we've been able to successfully stop them in their tracks, keeping in mind that the brand is built a lot on product and equal weight of the same on packaging. Next, please, Harshika. Right, so this is a typical creative space, how things are shown on the social media front, right? We do invest a lot of money with premium ad agencies in India. Currently, we've got 2 agencies who work for us, both based out of Delhi, and they are a known space when it comes to packaging design. And they're the same team of members who have worked on big accounts like BMW India. They worked on the Coca-Cola portfolio. So we do source our creative talent very thoughtfully. We do pay them a premium buck because we understand the importance of how the brand represents itself socially in front of customers. Next, please. Right. This is again, as I was saying, these are all takeaway packaging. You would see the difference in the design on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. While they're both fries containers, every time we go in for a reordering of the packaging, we make sure we change the design. The fundamental shape remains the same, but the design gets changed. So the person who is a regular at Milkshake and Co over a year or over a period of 2 years, he'll probably end up with a collection of 10 to 12 differently designed containers, right? Next, please. Yeah. So as I was saying, our target audience, it's essentially the youth of the country, which we try to capture through our social media. And our target audience also becomes important when we source for locations in terms of where should we be opening up the outlet. We have realized this thing that the closer we are to schools, colleges, or maybe to fast food hubs of those local cities is where we tend to get the best of the response, right? So yeah, that's it. Next, please. Sorry, I'm rushing through just in case I lose the connection again. And in terms of interiors, what you're seeing on your screen are our different stores. The one on the top is a dine-in store, which is opened at Sarjapur in Bangalore. This is our latest store. This opened last month. On the left-hand side, what you see is the entrance to the Sarjapur store. What you see on the bottom, the 2 pictures, one is a Mohali store, and the one next to it is a food court store in Indore, Phoenix Citadel. We operate in 2 broad formats, depending on the markets. If the market presents us with an opportunity to do takeaway only, like Chandigarh and Mohali, right? Because here the culture is more so of takeaway foods rather than dine-in. We do takeaway stores, right? But if you look at Bangalore kind of a place, wherein people usually come, sit, discuss over a meeting, have a cup of coffee, have a milkshake, talk to people, right? This is where we felt that dine-in is an option. But then even in dine-in, we don't do large formats. We do medium formats of having about 10 to 15 covers in store. That's what helps us A, keep the capital investment down. B, we feel that it is adequate enough space for a cafe kind of a outlet rather than doing a full scale, massive dine-in. Next, please. Right. These are just to show you renditions from where our 3D renditions go and to actual execution. This is again the support the brand provides. We provide all the architectural support in terms of designing, layouting, how the kitchen is going to be, right? How your seating will be, how even down to the bottom of how the plumbing would have to be, right? So just to show you, this is how the 3D render was of the store in Bangalore and what eventually ended up being at Bangalore. Next one, please, Arshika. Right. In terms of business, it's a scalable business, right? Wherein we have a quicker turnaround, quicker payback, right? We have incredible margins. Our margins are quite decent, and we do operate on very moderate investments, right? We don't believe in setting up businesses that are expensive or capital intensive. We're not that capital intensive as a business. Ease of operations, since we're operating for the last 8 years, all our supply chains are in place. I mean, we got a massive warehousing happening in Chandigarh. We've got a sub warehousing happening in Lucknow and Indore. And we have our logistic partners are there in place. They know how to operate things. So we can get any product delivered anywhere in India, right? And we've tested it out. I mean, our outlets have been running across India. So that is what we took about good 4 to 5 years to set this up logistically, rather than jumping into the entire franchising model and then, getting into roadblocks. Next one, please. Yeah, in terms of brand awareness, these are pretty much the latest numbers, but not updated. We have about 13,000 followers on Facebook, 13,000 on Instagram. We are fairly well rated on Zomato at about 4.4. When we started in Chandigarh, our Milkshake And Co outlet in Chandigarh, after about 500 reviews, we were the first outlet in Chandigarh to hit a rating of 4.9 on Zomato, which is something that we never knew, but the Zomato team came and told us you're the first ever outlet to hit a rating of 4.9 on Zomato, right? This is the averaged out rating for us across pan India, 4.4, right? Anything about 4.2 on Zomato and Swiggy is considered to be excellent. And holding on to this rating over a period of 8 years is a testament to our product quality, is a testament to our standardization, is a testament to our value proposition to the customer, right? And next one, please. Right. These are just some of the pictures of some sort of celebrities who do come to us. I mean, this again is not updated. This is old, but again, just to give you a sense, what you see fundamentally here are youth, right? And youth is today's youth is driving the entire social media. And as a brand, we are driven by social media. So these essentially are the people who generate business for us also. I mean, so hence we do operate very closely with local bloggers. We do a lot of blogger invites so that, we are there. We're there in the Instagram and Facebook zone. So we keep on having these social media activities happening at a local level, at a brand level, just to be relevant within the sphere and not faded out. Next one, please. We used to do a lot of fest pre-COVID. I mean, people who are from the Delhi NCR region, they'll be aware of the Grub Fest, which happens at Delhi. But post-COVID, these fests, unfortunately, have not taken off as yet. They might make a comeback, but then these fests are good opportunities to showcase your brand to your local audience. And these are good opportunities to make money. But having said that, what we started doing now is we started going to a lot of smaller local fests. Last month, we did a fest in Lucknow, Lamartnia Girls, which is a very prestigious institute in Lucknow. So we did a fest for Lamartnia's Girls. We are doing something at IIT Kanpur. Our Kanpur store is being part of an IIT fest happening. All right. And we are doing another fest with IIM Lucknow. So we do these local fests in absence of these larger food fests available to us. But yes, I mean, when these big food fests come back, we would certainly be part of it, because these are very good platforms. And we do encourage all our local businesses to be part of these platforms. Next one, please. All right. Here again, it is a brief talk about how the financials work in this business. I'm sure the team at Franchisee India would be more than helpful to assist you and give you a detailed breakdown. There is a detailed breakdown on the capex in the P&L sheet, which would be made available to you on request. And but this is just a broad financials that we're looking at, just to give you a brief summary on things. Next one, please. Yeah. So why franchisee with us? We do have a great product variety, and this product variety keeps on increasing. We keep on altering this variety. And we're an established brand. I mean, all our outlets, we're currently operating about 11 outlets, and all 11 are profitable in their own way. Right. There's a professional management. Like I said, fundamentally, this key management team that runs Milkshake and Co. It's me. So I've got a lot of advertising and food and bev experience. My other business partner, Lagun Sehgal, she again comes from the marketing stream and operates an Indian family restaurant for the last 40 years. Our third partner is Kandarp, who operates out of Lucknow. He himself has done his graduation and masters in England in beverage industry. So he's a technical guy. So the brand is supported professionally with a lot of key people who run the show, who know what we're doing. Then again, I mean, the rest are pretty much self-explanatory things. Next one, please. Right, we do have a system. What the brand provides, we'll provide you full assistance in setting it up in terms of architectural drawings. All our vendors are in place. The packaging, the sauces, all the products or all the items that are used in Milkshake and Co that are not temperature controlled are supplied out of the central warehouse, either from Chandigarh or Lucknow. Products that are temperature controlled, like ice cream, fries, burger patties and all, for these we have vendor tie-ups across city. Just to give you a sense, our milk and dairy partner is Mother Dairy. Then again, pan-India presence. Burger patty and our filling suppliers are ITC, which again is the biggest supplier across India. Right. Then for our fries, we deal with McCain. Then again, McCain is present all across India with the distributorship. So setting up is not an issue. The products are in place. The supply chain is in place. Having said that, there are about 4 to 5% of a typical of total product purchases that have to be done locally, which then again are not that complicated in terms of procuring burger buns, procuring some fresh vegetables, which is easily doable. We do provide the entire staff training to any new outlet. Whenever a store opens, we have a store opening team, which consists of our 2 strong operations and sales managers. They will handhold the team and they will set up the store. They will start the sales and they will be with you for another 2 to 3 weeks till the time they feel that the store has stabilized and people have been trained. Supply chain I've already mentioned. Right? Equipment-wise, we do use very standardized equipment. We will give you the entire list and the entire detailed specs of what equipments we want. And then again, these are local equipments, which is easily available across India. Right? Marketing support, we do a lot of central activity. Right? And the brand, we keep on geotagging wherever the new locations are, just to help build up the locations. We do have an operational manual that exists, which it's a very detailed document which shows you what the opening procedure is, what the closing procedure is, how the food is to be handled, how should you handle any customer queries coming in, right? So that is where the brand support is, right? Next one, please. Yeah. So, I mean, these are the contact details which will lead you back to Franchise India, and just to showcase where we currently are present, and we'd like to add more locations onto it. And that's pretty much it from my side, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kabirji. I'll quickly take some questions. I was seeing a lot of questions that have already started to come in. And friends, please mention your city of interest. We'll quickly take up these questions, but to also run through the entire presentation, what was presented. The company Milkshake is a leading chain which is headquartered in Chandigarh, and they have presence across major cities and I would say capitals across the country. Business which started as a side income, which I heard Kabirji talk about, has translated into a successful business model, and they run a combination of both franchise stores and company-owned stores, which are their own investments and equity stores. And the offering includes both beverages, shakes, and also food offering. And they have created a strong brand equity over the years, perfected their offering, and also a strong proposition for their franchise partners. They also have a very strong control over the supply chain, where they have tied with credible vendors like Mother Dairy and other vendors, where they take the entire supply chain from, to ensure the product sanitization and the quality is intact. And there has been a big focus on sustainability, which I also heard Kabirji talk about, by brands across the globe. And they've integrated that in their format much before the other brands, new age companies or the mature companies started talking about it. And they're looking now to grow, I would say. But as you see their growth and the locations they currently are based out of, they're very, very selective about their partners. They're very selective about the properties, locations they would open in. So quickly, we'll start with the questions. The model is 250 square feet, which is minimum requirement to have the entire offering, which includes food as well as your beverages. And the investment is about 24 lakhs. And we'll be happy to share more details on the investment breakup. But like I mentioned, this is broadly divided into 5 big, investment breakups. One is your investment on the interior and fit out, like I talked about, where we've taken a cost of close to 2,000 rupees per square feet. So which comes to about 5 lakh approximately. Then there's a investment in the kitchen equipment, which is again close to about 4.5 odd lakhs. Then we have franchise fees, which is about 7 lakhs plus taxes. And then we also have other requirement, which is the inventory that you need to keep, which is consumables when you start, and a launch budget. So all this put together comes to about 24 odd lakhs. So typical, if I talk about the kitchen equipment, and Kabirji talked about these are basic equipments like your deep freezers, your chillers, your under counters, your plates, fryers, working tables, coffee machine, all that contributes to be part of your equipment. And while there's also investment that we have taken towards stock and consumables, which is close to about 2 odd lakhs, and also licenses which you need to take to start, that also has been taken into consideration. And the franchise fee component is 7 odd lakhs. So all this put together, I would say, including even the tax on the franchise fees, is close to about 24 odd lakhs. Also including your working capital of 2 lakhs of the initial inventory consumable stock that you would take. So that broadly pretty much, covers your entire investment. We'll share with you the entire working around that. Now, Kabirji, my questions, I'll take some questions on the unit economics,
Right.
How the unit economic works, and based on your experience, because I see the locations that you have taken are some of the prime locations in the country, including high street as well as the malls. So how does it work out? Typically mall rentals, what we're looking at, what becomes our per center outlet average throughput on an average, what it delivers. And if you can also talk about, a little bit on food economics, how it works, my per square feet efficiencies on an average. Maybe if you want to take an average, maybe that would be great. But if you want to maybe give an example of the best performing, maybe comparatively average performing outlets.
Okay, so I'll give you 2 examples. Overall, the food cost and the packaging component, which is standard, comes to at about 42% of a retail price. Typically, food industries do food cost and packaging separate, but we've integrated. But even if you do break it down, our food cost is about 35% and 7% is the packaging cost. Now, this will remain constant irrespective of where you open. Now, when it comes to malls and high streets, there's a huge difference. So I'll give you an example of two stores. Chandigarh store, which is about 200 square feet. And that too, Chandigarh, we're in Sector 8, which is, I think, last I remember, it was one of the top 5 rental markets in India.
And also very good food.
Chandigarh Sector 8 retails at about 1,000 rupees a square feet. That's the going rental rate there. Now, that being said, so 200, so we give about 2 lakh worth of rent there, an HR cost of about 1 lakh rupees, and electricity miscellaneous about 50,000, right? So that's about 3.5 lakh. Now, if I were to just compare the rentals of 2 lakh, now cut to mall. Mall, if you look at Phoenix Palacio, Lucknow. Here, if I were to look at my outflow at Sector 8, Chandigarh, it is about 2 lakhs. If I look at my mall outflow at Phoenix, Lucknow, it's about 3.5 lakhs. But there's a difference. The difference being Chandigarh is my independent highest revenue store. They hit a revenue of about 10 lakhs, right? At about a 10 lakh revenue in Chandigarh store without any mall loading, without any, CAM charges and all of that stuff, I make about 2.5 to 3 lakhs. So my profitability, on a high street at a 2 lakh rental store stands at about 30%, correct? Now cut to mall. What happens in mall is if I do a similar sale at Phoenix Palacio, there my profitability is only about 1.5 lakh, because my capital that goes as a fixed cost from 2 lakh to 3.5 lakh is it's a straight away maths there. On a similar scale, because I'm paying the mall more. Having said that, malls have their own advantage, high street have their own advantage. If you end up being in a mall, which is already a kind of a hit mall in the city, then you can't go wrong. Because location is everything. In any business, in any retail business, location is everything. I have seen fabulous products getting failed in the market because of bad locations. And I've seen bad products becoming super hit products because of good locations, right? So malls and high street is different. If you look at Chandigarh again, Chandigarh doesn't have much of a mall culture, barring Elante Mall, correct? But if you look at cities like Bangalore, since we just stepped into Bangalore again, our second outlet is getting opened at Mall of Asia, right? That's a mall. Bangalore, I see a very heavy footfall into malls. That's the culture of the city, right? I mean, try entering Phoenix Market City in Bangalore on a weekend. It'll take you 1 hour just to park your car inside. And it's an old mall. It's a 5-year-old mall. Correct. So the economics work differently, and it differs from city to city. So this is where the franchisee partner's knowledge comes into picture. I cannot tell sitting out of Chandigarh, or maybe even through my one visit to a city like, say, Calcutta, oh, this is the location that works. No. People who are from that city, people looking to open an outlet in that city, they are better placed than us. So that is where their judgment comes into the picture, right? For locations, we can only guide them in terms of what we see, but there's only that much we can see on a location visit or location evaluation. In 2 days, I cannot evaluate if the location is good or not. But if you're a local person from that city, you've grown up in that city, you know it better than me. So having said that, it's the local person, it's the franchisee partner's experience in terms of locations is what we will be depending upon. And they're a better judge. I mean, if tomorrow somebody comes to Chandigarh, since I'm a Chandigarh guy, I can tell you market by market what will work in what market. In Sector 8 Chandigarh, only food will work, retail, cloth retail won't work, right? But if you go to Sector 22 market in Chandigarh, food won't work, retail only works, correct? So this is my local knowledge, being a local person from Chandigarh. Yes, economics is like that. Mall has its own advantages. Malls, bear in mind, malls, the capex is also high. So what will typically set you back 25 lakhs on a 250 square feet on a high street? A similar thing in a mall will set you back by 35 lakhs, because on an average, any mall will take good 8 to 10 lakhs as security deposit, right? Irrespective of whatever you're doing. So suddenly your capex in mall goes high. But yes, if the mall clicks, it works fantastically, beautifully well. Yeah. So that is where we are on the high
So
street
I
part.
have another question, because we talk about unit economics. While I understand your, your bottom line would be different based on the input that goes in. But what I understand, there's an overall 42%, which is the food cost, including it also includes your packaging cost.
Correct.
Then, if I did my calculation right, I'm also seeing there's an occupancy cost of 20%, right? So
Right.
20% of the overall occupancy cost is maybe based on the two examples that you gave. I see the cost of 10% towards staff. I don't know that's more or less, but that's 10% of the overall. And there's another royalty which I'm seeing there's a fixed royalty that we charge, which
it's just 20,000, right?
Which kind of translates to about 5%, right? If I'm taking an average of say 5 lakhs, maybe on the lower side. So this contributes.
5 lakhs is 5 lakhs. All our stores do more than 5 lakhs. There's no store in our portfolio that does 5 lakhs. The lowest we do is the smallest store in Mohali, which is the 80 square feet store, by the way. It does about 7 lakhs. Now that 80 square feet sounds very small, but the way we got the shop,
throughput is high. It might be at a good location.
The frontage is 14 feet. So it is 14 feet, but it is only 5 feet deep. So when the customer sees it, it sees, oh, there's such a big shop in there, but then it's only that much deep what you see. Yeah, go on. So you're saying 5%,
Great.
yes.
So I'm saying you said 7.5. So I'm taking maybe 3% on an average, if we take in terms of percentage, would be your royalty structure. Then there's also utility expenses, electricity, which should be another maybe 8 to 10 odd percent.
Right.
So your bottom line typically after taking out all these expenses would be to the tune of 15 to 20 odd percent.
15 to 20, yes. But these vary a lot. I mean, so the better thing to do is any person who is serious about it. So there's a P&L sheet that we have, Excel sheet. Now that has a lot of formulas in it. If any person who wants to evaluate his location, they just need to enter, okay, I will sell these many milkshakes in a day, month 1, month 2, month 3. And they can feed in the rentals that they're expected. They can feed in the HR cost. So that in the end will give you a much more precise picture.
Absolutely.
So I would encourage whosoever the team is sending out the details, they should send that P&L sheet and ask the person, the interested investor, to fill that in, because these will vary from, I think I have an expectancy that these will vary from 15 to 30%. Because the lowest profits we make on any outlet are 20%. The highest we make are about 35%. It's the same retailing price. It's the same input cost, right? In product terms, it just has to do with the rentals, with the staff cost, and with the sales. Those, I think, food business variable cost affects your profitability a lot.
I think there are two big components, friends, when we talk about food. One is obviously your cost of food, which has to be controlled, and the other is your cost of occupancy, which is rent.
Correct.
So if these two components are controlled, then your profitability or bottom line looks great.
100%.
Yeah, because you talked about different while we have done an Excel sheet where people can input the variables.
Sorry to interject. We are pretty much zero food wastage business. I mean, if you look at any other restaurant, in their operational cost, they will add 5% food wastage. Especially Indian restaurants, it goes much higher. The only thing we end up wasting on an average are like about 2 tomatoes and a half iceberg lettuce on a given day. Because all our products are minimum 3 to 6 months in expiry. They don't get wasted. I mean, zero wastage in food business is unheard of, right? So that's another good thing about our business, which I somehow, you guys can mention whenever you're talking to people, because anyone who knows anything about food business, the first thing they'll ask is, what is the food wastage percentage? We're almost 0%.
Helpful. Now, Kapilji, what I would also request, if you can also give, a thumb rule of rent to sale ratio, right? So sometimes we have a low rental, but the throughput is also small, right? You don't get a high sales. Sometimes the rental is high, but your throughput from the location, like you gave example of Sector 8 in Chandigarh, the rentals are high, but your throughput also is proportionate to that. So what is a thumb rule from rent to ratio? If I have a, say, 2 lakh rent, ideally it should be 5x. So I should have at least 5x of sale.
So we say your rental should not be more than 20% of your expected sale, which is again 5x. Isn't anything between 15 to 20%, right? 15 to 20%, it should not be. So your HR cost should not be more than 10% of your expected sale, because that's the amount of people you need to kind of give you that kind of an output, right? And your location should not be more than 20%.
Wonderful.
That's a general rule.
Wonderful. So friends, I did mention there are two important markets we're looking at, Bangalore being one of them, and the other is Gujarat as a market, which includes Ahmedabad, Surat, and some other cities, which Kabirji, if you can maybe advise what cities are we looking at. And Maria, if I can also request, I see a lot of questions which are coming in, some questions that you think have not been taken up. I'll request if you can take these questions. And friends, Maria is our head for Karnataka. She, along with her team in Karnataka, would be leading the project. So anybody from that region looking at can reach out to her. We'll also share her coordinates in the chat box. So over to you, Maria. You can take some questions from the Q&A box quickly. And friends, we can also do a one-to-one meeting call, like I mentioned, post the web.
Okay, sir, we have a question from Mihir. I think what will be required for total investment for a kiosk model? Do we have a kiosk model?
We don't do kiosks because kiosks, you end up getting stuck on an operational level. With burgers and fries, we do end up putting fryers, and kiosks, any kiosk model won't be able to give you an exhaust system. So, kiosks, there's an operational limitation on kiosks. So kiosks we don't do. I mean, even if you approach a mall to put up a kiosk, they will say, no, the first thing they'll ask, okay, do you guys require an exhaust? The moment you say, and we require running water also. So kiosks are unable to provide running water.
Okay.
So operationally get stuck there with kiosks.
Okay. So we have a very valid question from Praveen also, which he asks in the menu, do we have a combination of veg and non-veg?
We do serve both veg and non-veg, yes. Yes. We have, so if I look at a cutout of like about 12 type of burgers, we do 6 type of veg and 6 type of non-veg burgers. We do wraps, about 6 type of wraps. We do 3 non-veg wraps and 3 veg wraps, yes. So we're not a pure veg brand, just to answer that more correctly. Even some of our milkshakes that end up using chocolates, they have a red dot. So the imported chocolates we use, like Mars and Toblerone milkshake, Mars in itself has a chocolate has a red dot. Not many people would be aware about it, but then we put a red dot against it on the milkshake because it does have some sort of an egg content in it, I believe.
Rest of the questions, I think Sonia ma'am had covered, but I have a question to ask you. While I was going through your PPT, I seen that, like your containers were having a lot of characters. So if you can just tell me what inspired those characters, I think it was very catchy, in fact. So I would like to understand that.
So these try to capture the flavor that is inside. I mean, there's another sales deck that we share with our staff, which I'll share with the Franchise India team. So if you look at our hazelnut milkshake, right? The character that we've taken there is that of a Darth Vader from Star Wars, right? But if you look closely in the design, the eyes of the person is made actually through hazelnut, right? And then the colors are that of a hazelnut tree, correct? So the idea is to encapsulate the flavor in the design. And then again, that's a hazelnut and coffee flavor. That's a very strong flavor. Hence, Darth Invader. While Darth Invader in Star Wars was an evil character, but he was still nonetheless a very strong personality. He was a strong villain, right? So we try to capture the character of a person who's most likely to have the product, and also elements of the flavoring of the product on the design. So that's the philosophy we work on.
Okay, so if you could also help me understand what will be a typical investor will ideally suit this business. I think if you could give me a little more light on that, please.
A typical investor would be some sort of a middle-aged person for whom this is not a side business, because what we've observed is the investment is so low. Usually people come in, okay, I'll spend 25, 30 lakhs and then I'll sit and then the money will start coming. We want a very active investor. We will set it up, we'll do everything, but till the time, if I don't want any remote control investor to be very, Hanji sir, we've invested 30 lakhs, now the store should run on itself. No, the investor would be required to spend some time on the store. While we don't expect the investor to become the manager of the store, that is certainly not the case, but then they should be giving time, that they should be, they should know what is happening in their store, right? It needs to be very active involvement of the investor, because none of the businesses, if you look at it, I mean, personally, I've seen businesses, if you don't actively involve yourself and you just throw the money there, the businesses won't run. They can't run, because being an owner, you have to have your presence there. the owner knows the business better than anyone else, even their manager, right? So the manager is only limited to the salary, correct? He's working with you today, not with you tomorrow. But this is your investment, right? Your investment stays there as an investment. You've invested to take some money out of it, to make some sort of a profit. So you have to give time. Certainly not passive investors. We're not looking for passive investors. It has to be active investors in terms of time. They have to give 4 to 5 hours every day at the store. They need to know, because tomorrow, as a brand, if I were to pick up my phone on any of my stores and talk to the investor, and if I were to ask him, can you tell me how much vanilla ice cream is there in the stock? They should know it. I shouldn't get it. Say, okay, sir, let me call the store. I haven't been there for the last 2 days. I will check with the man and get back. That is certain. Because if we were to do it like that over the last 8 years, we would have opened 50 to 100 stores by now. Right. The reason why we go very slow with expansion is because we're very picky. We're very few, because we want the brand to grow. We want any investor who's come to us with money, he should make money out of it, right? I am not in the business of taking the one-time franchise fee and that's it. My job's done. No, my idea is to make it 100-strong outlet brand in India by 2026. Then I want to over to Middle East. Right? I might want to do the Southeast Asia belt. For me, India market is very critical, and each and every store is very critical.
Okay, so I have a question from Tanu, who asked if there is someone who wants only veg. So are you open for that?
We can do it, yeah. I mean, it's just a reduction in menu, and our menu gets reduced only by about 5%. So there's not.
But I think, and also, I would like to say, friends, this is something we should not encourage. Every brand has their own ethos. So if we start changing menu to the preference of an individual, it does not cut out, right? So.
Veg, non-veg
this is a very standard menu.
Finished.
It is not a menu which does not work in Delhi, and it works only in certain locations. So it's a very universal menu, and I don't think there's any requirement for this to be changed. This changes the entire business model, and that no brand ideally recommend. There's some tweaking a lot of F&B company does, depending on the taste and maybe
the local taste,
so to say. But no menu change can ever be done by any successful brand. Just the tweaking is something which companies do. Right? So wonderful. And Kaviji, one thing, because we are talking about 2 cities, you have presence in other locations. Are we open to do more outlets in locations where we already are? Say, for example, Chandigarh, I see our partner Ajay talking, joined from Chandigarh, asking if that is an option. Locations like Odisha, you did mention 2 cities. No, I know not 2 cities. So Odisha, any capital or the major cities that you want to point out?
Okay,
Bombay,
we can do.
Is another location I see where the inquiry comes from.
So Chandigarh would be a strong no, because Chandigarh is a very small market. If I open anything, it's going to cannibalize the stores. Chandigarh is what? It's like a 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer city, right? One corner of Chandigarh to another corner is like 6-minute drive. If I open, so I'm in Sector 8. If I open another one in 34, the stores will cannibalize each other's sales. So no point. Chandigarh we're not looking to do. We're not looking to do Mohali or Panchkula. So it's Gujarat and Bangalore. Bangalore, we are 2. Bangalore can see a lot more. Gujarat is the market where we want to really go all guns blazing.
Wonderful. But before we close, I'll request if you want to give a message to everybody who's listening to you. And friends, we'll also put our hotline number or email ID to reach out to us. Yes. And Kabiji, Ajay ji is asking, Zirakpur kholna chahenge hum?
Zirakpur is an underdeveloped market. Zirakpur, I've seen a lot of, Ajay ji knows then Chandigarh ka situation. Jitne bhi Sector 8 ke brands khule the, Zirakpur mein sab band ho gaye with time. Because Zirakpur is an upcoming area, and at the price point at which we operate, we become slightly expensive for Zirakpur as a area. Zirakpur essentially are people who just want a Chandigarh address coming and staying there, right? So we're expensive for Zirakpur, let's put it that way. Anything else?
So, which I think that is good. I request if there's a message that you want to give to everybody.
Nothing. We're a reasonably strong business. Our products are sorted. I mentioned our supply chain is sorted. We operate in a very attractive category of the youth of India, and we operate at a very pocket-friendly price point. We are an evolving brand, and we are a brand which has a reasonable presence. So yes, I see the brand performing well wherever we open, provided we do correct choices of locations, and correct choices of franchisee partners. That's my message.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Kabirji. Thank you all our friends for joining in. We'll reach out to all of you. Anybody who's looking at detailed working on the P&L, we are happy to share that with you. And I request anybody who wants to come on a meeting or maybe a Zoom call, we are more than happy to start taking that after the webinar. Our teams will start reaching out to you. Great. Harshika, over to you for your closing comments.
Thank you, Sonia ma'am. Thank you, Kabirji and Maria, for this wonderful presentation discussion about the brand Milkshake and Co. Friends, for more details about the brand and to directly connect with the brand owner, Mr. Kabir, to start this business in your location, you can reach us on our hotline number 9717683838. You can also write us on feedback@franchiseindia.in. Today evening, Franchise India is doing their evening series in the occasion of Independence Day, Bharat Franchise Show. Today we are covering the brands who are looking, if you are looking for a brand into beauty and wellness, so you can do your registration link shared over the chat box. To know more about these business opportunities, you can reach us on our hotline number 9717683838. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar.